art, both on your wall and Garfunkel. Socks. They can be on your feet or as a puppet. Can they do anything else? You don't know. Maybe you'll find out, and I don't know about that with Jim Jefferies. Hi, welcome to I Don't Know About That with Jim Jefferies. I'm Jim Jefferies. I'm here with the Sailor and the Bear.
You're really
the Sailor and the Bear. You can decide who's who.
93.8, the Sailor and the Bear.
Yeah. You log on to KWNBC and listen to the Sailor and the Bear.
It's funny because I know I'm Callie Bear, but I do have a captain tattoo, so I technically could be the Sailor and the Bear.
Yeah, I thought you were the bear and he was the sailor because he has a boat. Sailor and the Bear. That's good radio name.
I'm still thinking about socks. Right. You nailed the art one. You said both on your wall and Garfunkel. That was good. And then you were like socks and feet and just like stumbling there. So
I was looking at Luis's socks.
Yeah,
he's wearing socks and sandals.
You're only supposed to do one of the. This is the way you normally do it. You go blah blah, both blah blah and blah blah, and then you do one. But you tried to do two of those.
I got it all out.
Yeah.
I got it all out. I stand
He's
by
had a
it.
lot on his mind lately.
Both on your wall and Garfunkel.
No, that one was good.
Yeah, that was
Then
a good
socks.
one.
What was socks?
Socks is on your feet
Or
used as a puppet. Are there any other uses?
Yeah, it's too much. You can't. You just got to do one there.
I think puppets and feet. I think that.
Masturbation.
People jerk off in socks.
Yeah, I've never understood the masturbating.
You
in
put
a
your dick
sock.
in the sock and you jerk off.
I know, but it's the fabric going against it.
Kinda
Fuck
hurts.
That.
Shit,
Who
it's
wants
so
to-
It's
It
rough.
hurts.
You'd have to get fancy socks.
Yeah,
Bombas.
who
yeah.
wants to do that? I've cleaned up cum with a sock that's been on my floor next to me bed. I've mopped up my fair share of cum with a sock.
Yeah.
It's travelled to 3 houses with me, this sock.
This is my cum sock.
A lot of memories.
You can't get your foot in there anymore. It's like a surfboard.
Yeah, your children are there.
Speaking of surfers,
Wait, we're in a new studio. Do we want to mention?
yeah, no, but I want to hear about the shark attack first. Oh, we're in a new studio, everyone.
Yeah.
It's like the old studio, but it's a different place.
No,
Did
but
you
I-
notice the balloons? The cunt balloons?
Yeah, who gave us the cum balloons?
My friend Desiree owns Badass Balloon Company, and she wanted to help us celebrate the new studio, so she sent these.
Wow, that'll look good wrapped around a bit of marine life. Everyone will know
We'll
it's
cut the
us.
strings first.
Everyone will know it's us. There'll be like some fucking...
Cunt balloons inside fish.
No, they won't know it's us. It has their company on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically, they'll get the blame.
They'll be
Yeah.
able- I like how it's full stop at the end of the word cunt. Like,
Yeah.
that's the sentence.
But we're here. We're here. We're finally.
And-
No one really seemed to care that we were moving around different places.
No,
we're
but this is
finally-
our new home. We'll be here for a long time, so I hope you enjoy it. We, as I said, stiff as a surfboard. We did a show last week on shark attacks, and I think we used the term "they never happen."
So
there's
rare.
There's never ever a shark attack in Australia. They happen once in a blue moon. The day we recorded it, what happened, Jack?
The day we posted, there was a shark attack on the Gold
dead
Coast.
though, killed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was what we said. Is most people don't
don't
not
die.
that many people die from shark attacks.
yeah, it's very rare.
The very day the podcast came out.
Oh yeah, it was in Greenmont Beach at Coolangatta.
Coolangatta. Yeah, I like how you tried your best Aboriginal voice there.
Coolangatta.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Yeah. No, it would be an Aboriginal word for by the sea or something. I could always crack those words.
Yeah. So
We have
alright.
a town called Wagga Wagga,
Yeah.
and that's because I've been told, and correct me if I'm wrong, because Aboriginals didn't used to use numbers. They used to just say things
Why are you
twice.
asking us to
I
correct
don't-
you if you're wrong?
Yeah, but it could be
No
a myth.
idea.
So Wagga Wagga because there was two of them or something. I don't fucking know.
Sounds like it was named by the Muppets or something. Like
Yeah,
Wagga
it's
Wagga
like
sounds...
you buy a car and you go, how many dollars is this? And they go, dollar till it gets like 50,000.
Wow.
That would be
How
horrible.
you buy cars in Australia.
So is this? I guess it's time for Comment World.
All right, let's do a new jingle. Comment world, come to get your comments.
If you have a jingle that you want to send us for free, feel free.
Yeah, and then we can say if it's shit or not
Yeah.
right underneath it.
Yeah, exactly.
A Comment World jingle?
Yeah.
Comment
We've got
world.
enough
Now
fans.
we're not gonna respond to any 1-star comments. So if you put 1 star up on our podcast, you don't get your comment read out. That's not how you get it.
Nope.
But if you want to write an abusive comment and give us 5 stars, well, we might read it.
We'll consider it.
We'll be a little inclined. This first one on the topic of sharks, this commenter mentioned that bull sharks swim in saltwater, brackish water, and fresh water, including rivers. So they're fucking cunts, he says.
We mentioned that though on the podcast.
I wasn't sure if we did. So
No, he did. He said
Okay,
he
cool.
said estuaries, which is like brackish.
Yeah. Why is this guy writing to us?
I don't know.
I
didn't
call
know.
bullshit sharks.
And then this other guy said that there's a golf course pond in Australia where bull sharks are happily living. Locals will throw steaks into the water to feed them.
Really?
Who throws an entire steak away?
Why are they giving away steaks?
I don't know.
Fucking
And
stupid.
who
Those
carries a
assholes?
steak in the Australian sun so they can
golf
get,
bag.
And then
so
in
they
their
can
golf
get
bag,
to the
yeah.
ninth hole in their golf bag and go, oh yeah,
Are they raw?
I've got that for the sharks.
Also,
They give you your ball back that way.
I say that's bullshit. It's not like the sharks are like sitting there waiting for the steaks too. So they throw it into murky water, it sinks, and then they're like, "Yeah, a shark's gonna eat that. We're not gonna see it."
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of sharks that have styrofoam trays in their stomachs.
Like, how much money do you have to just give away steaks to sharks?
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah, I call bullshit. Send us a photo. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
People were upset with your sparkly hat.
Oh, that was from my Elton John outfit.
What do you mean they're
I
upset?
love that.
Well,
For
one
Halloween.
guy goes, "What the fuck is that hat?" One person says, "Jim looks like someone's fashionable grandma."
I do. I look like one of those grandmothers going to bingo night.
That's a good one.
She doesn't want to show her hair anymore.
Jim loves looking like a gay roadie for a rock band that only travels by dirigible. Dirigible? I don't know.
I don't know.
I assume that was an Australian word.
Yeah.
They're all Australian.
I like how you didn't read it before. You thought I'll give it a go.
I forgot about that part of it.
They travel by didgeridoo.
I thought he was trying to say didgeridoo.
No, didgerable. And then, what a terrible hat. Jim looks like a bedazzled Crown Royal bag.
Oh yeah,
That's
It
kinda
looked
nice.
Like
Yeah.
Aren't those Crown Royal bags purple?
Yeah.
Is that crackhead Elton John, or has Jim went to Vegas for a week? That's how it's phrased.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm glad you're proofreading these,
Yeah.
Jack.
Yeah,
Also, if you're gonna comment,
Jack-
fucking speak English.
Yeah, Jack, you had one thing to prepare.
I read
Yeah,
the comments
what?
as written.
Yeah, you had one thing to prepare, and then you come in dirigible.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know what this word is, and this sentence is not decipherable, and this one just put letters.
I'll tell you about
This one isn't a comment.
What-
This is my tax return.
I want to tell you how it was in the 80s back in Australian school system. So you get your report card where they tick your attendance and this. They tick the little boxes, whether you're good, bad, or they give you little star ratings. And then the teacher leaves a comment. And that was back when my name was Jeffrey. And one of the comments that this guy thought was acceptable to write on my report card to be handed to my parents. This was a teacher wrote, "His handwriting looks like an epileptic had a fit with a pen in its hand." And I look back at it now because I read it when I was back there. It was my old report cards, and I read it like, why didn't my mother lose her fucking shit? All my mother did was, you have to get better at handwriting.
We used to have it where you had a grade for what your performance was, like, you know, academic wise. Then they had an effort number, and then they had a conduct. So they grade you on like how well you did in your studies. Then so A, B, C, D, E, F, and then 1 through 3, 1 being the best, 3 being the worst, in your effort, which is like bullshit. Like, who cares what your effort is if you get the good grade? And then your conduct, A, B, C, D. And I got, in one of my classes, I got an A3F, where I was like, I crushed the course. They didn't think I was trying hard enough, and I was a dickhead in the class.
That does sum you up. You're a smart guy that doesn't try.
Yeah.
A3F. That's like I remember my mom being like, how did you get an A3F? I'm like, it's pretty hard to do. I was really thinking about it. So, yeah. What else you got there?
One guy
You're getting
asked,
a 3 for effort right now, by the way.
thanks, man. Do these guys always laugh like Ray Liotta and Goodfellas?
What's this guy? This is fucking
Funny like a clown?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with
I
that.
don't think that's the line.
No,
What?
Funny like a clown.
What am I, funny like a clown?
Yeah, what am I, funny? You think I'm a clown?
Oh, yeah,
I'm amusing to you?
For some reason, the way you said it was really weird. Just that.
Funny like a clown.
It took me out of my body for a
Excuse
second.
me, do you think we are funny like a clown?
Yeah,
Okay, that's racist.
I had a Postmate guy. I had a Postmate guy the other day, yesterday, who came to the door. He came to the door, and he was about 70. He was obviously new to the country. This is why anyone can get a job. This guy didn't just not speak English. He had about, well, maybe 6 words. 6 words that he had, and he was working for Postmates. And he went, food! He just was standing with this old man holding a bag of food, and he pointed at it and went, food! And I went, yeah. And he went, Sir Jeffrey!
Sir Jeffrey.
Like,
And he
That's
handed it
amazing.
to me. And I was like, fucking hell, that guy. And he got the order right.
That's the ideal Postmate. When
Yeah.
people talk about like Uber drivers or Postmates or any of that, they're like, well, they don't fucking speak English. I'm like, good. I don't want to be talked to
Oh,
when I'm in an Uber.
I tipped this guy good,
Yeah.
man. He's come to this country. Imagine moving to a country and not knowing the language at all,
That would
and
be
then
so
being
hard.
told, get a job.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And now you have to interact with people.
Yeah, if you had me walking around China, I'd be like, I could be a speed hump. I,
What else you got, Jack?
This refers to when you talk about how your junk is darker than the rest of your body.
yeah.
This person says, I haven't fact checked it. This is just a comment. It goes, little fun fact, your dick and balls are darker because high hormone concentration on that part of the body. So in short, the more horny the person, the darker the genital area is. So you must be very horny.
Yeah, that's
Let's
pretty
get
right.
this guy on as an
Yeah,
expert in dick meat color.
You can still tell my dick's white by the size, but not by the color.
How dark is it?
So the hornier
There's
you
a part
are,
of me that wants to see your dick, but I don't. But I just need to know what color it is.
Yeah,
Can we get some paint swatches
By the
in
way,
here?
what part of you wants to see my dick?
Not much. I'm just curious.
It's my left shoulder. Oh, shoulder cunt. I forgot about that. I got to bring that joke back.
What?
I have a theory that the vagina's in the wrong place, too close to the arsehole. That's why it gets all the infections.
So shoulder is a better spot.
Up in the shoulder.
How? Okay. Would you guys like to demo how that sex
Because
works?
you go from blowjob to shoulder. Shoulder cunt. Hashtag.
Make shoulder cunt happen.
All right, more comments.
This person goes, love autistic comedians, unfiltered truth.
Yeah.
What? What does that mean? That we're autistic?
Yeah.
I don't know if they meant to say Australian or what
Oh,
meant
Jim always
autistic.
talks about how he's on the spectrum.
It could be either.
But it just seems like a general. I love autistic comedians. Not like I love this guy. He's on autistic.
I tell you what,
We're all autistic, I guess.
Autism is hot right now.
Yeah.
They've got the dating show.
Did you watch it?
I'm on series 2.
It's fucking great.
They've got the dating show. They've got the one where Amy Schumer's husband, who's a bit autistic, cooks with her.
That's good. That's a good one.
Or are you just saying that?
No, he is.
You know he is. I'm not being. I'm
okay.
not being mean. I'm not
He's like
saying,
Aspergery. Like
Yeah,
that.
he's a little
Yeah.
bit that way. Yeah. Nothing wrong.
I like that's a term now. Aspergery. Aspergery.
Oh, no, they should have-
Aspergery.
Is that a term, or did you just
Aspergery.
say that and it's kind of offensive?
And then there's
got a
HBO.
little bit
I don't know when they
Asperger's.
did this documentary, but I watched a thing called Autism or Us or Autism to Go or something. They're a comedy troupe of autistic blokes that got in an RV and drove around. They played Carolines.
What do you mean they're autistic?
They're all autistic.
Like Rain Man?
Some are varying degrees, but
Well, it's a spectrum.
they're heavily autistic.
Yeah.
There's one of them who's their leader, like Mo from the Three Stooges, right? And then there's 4 of them, and they all get into a bus and they do sketches. And people are either really supportive of them, but they do a thing. They did a stupid thing where they go, in the interval, they go, you write postcards to our next audience, and we hand that to them at the beginning of the show. It was like a cute idea. And
they talk
and
about
then
the
they'll
show.
and then they'll write, like, so some people's like, hey, had a great time, you're gonna have a really good laugh today or whatever. But then they found out that some people were really honest and went, this was shit. Right? And they're like, I don't want to give this to the next audience before the show starts.
Right.
Oh, so they started writing them themselves.
Oh, yeah.
It's called Asperger's or Us.
Asperger's are us. Asperger's are us, yeah. And it was an HBO documentary. I'm on like episode 3.
I'm gonna watch that.
There's some stuff. They're not unfunny. They're not unfunny. They've got some good bits. They've got some good bits. But them all getting along in the RV is worth a watch.
So Aspergery is offensive?
I don't know if it's offensive, but I feel like it probably could be.
Yeah.
Aspergery? Yeah.
Aspergery?
Yeah, probably not.
What do you reckon? Because they say on Asperger's are us. They say Aspie friends.
Oh, yeah.
They
I've
say
heard
that?
I've
Yeah,
heard-
that's the thing. They
Wait,
go.
the performers say that?
Yeah, they go.
Yeah.
They go.
Aspie.
A lot of Aspies are coming.
No,
to
but
the show.
Aspie's shorthand for Asperger's, like as a title of them. But saying somebody's Aspergery, it's like
Aspie.
I don't know. I mean,
Aspie.
you guys can write us in
Aspie.
and let us know if that's offensive.
Aspie?
Yeah. That Aspie, the Aspie community.
Yeah, they won an award.
Yeah.
The Aspies.
The Aspies.
And the Aspie goes to.
they can only give out one Aspie because everyone's too shy to get up on stage and get it, or their speeches run 45 minutes too long.
All right. What else is happening in comment world?
Last few things. Either people think Kelly is super hot and want to get her pregnant, or they think she's an idiot, needs to shut up. People are impressed that I can read.
Very divided.
Well, you
Which
can't.
you haven't, you haven't proven this time.
I have not, so they're going to go back on their
Wow,
claims.
validated.
Why do they want to get Kelly pregnant if she's pretty? Like, that's such a thing?
Because that's how you get the
It's-
good-looking kids.
I thought they would just want to talk to
Yeah,
you first.
yeah,
I want to put a
dinner.
baby inside.
I thought just like dinner first or something. Like she's pretty. She's pretty, baby. Put it in.
I see a lot of men who are trying to shag Kelly on the internet.
All right, hey Kelly, don't.
Have you ever seen one where you're like, this is the difference between men and women? Because if someone said that to me, I'd be like, oh, give me a look at her.
Yeah.
And you're just like, gross, right?
No, I don't think it's gross. It's flattering, sure, but I'm not like going through people's profiles and seeing.
You don't check if they're.
I don't even see them. Jack texts me some of them.
Yep.
But he also texts me the really mean ones, and I'm like, can you stop sending me the mean shit?
I sent you the mean ones about me too.
Yeah.
So it evens
We
out.
You
just
have a lot
cry
of
a
mean
little.
ones, Jack?
I got some mean ones.
I don't have any mean ones.
Yeah, no. Somehow Forrest has gotten out of this scot-free.
Everybody loves me.
No,
I'm
negativity.
kidding. Are you kidding me?
I know.
Does Forrest get any sexual attention? Does anyone say?
Yeah, Bianca. Oh, okay.
Not that I've noticed.
Does anyone want the sailor?
Not yet, but maybe now with the sailor name, maybe they will.
I like how Jack said, not that I've noticed.
I have never.
Haven't seen any of those.
In the history of comedy, I've very rarely hooked up with anyone as a result of like after a show or something like that, and it's usually been terrible.
Oh, that's I wouldn't know how to meet women without comedy.
Yeah, but they're always ridiculously
No,
psychopaths.
it was a
Like,
lot.
they're not-
It was a lot easier to meet girls in comedy clubs. You could meet girls in comedy clubs because you'd be hanging out in the club after. But in theaters, you play an arena, you're not meeting nobody.
Yeah, that's why you got to stay stagnant.
I can play a 10,000 seat room, and there'll be no single women in the entire crowd. None.
Yeah.
None, because their boyfriends have brought them. There's no group of women who have gone to a Jim Jefferies show who have all gone, come on, girls' night. No, it never happened.
Now, one of the worst hookups I've ever had was a girl that came up to me at a comedy show and basically said she wanted to sleep with me. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. And I was working a weekend at Miami Improv with Patrice O'Neill. And he convinced me, he goes, what do you do? You should just have sex with her. Like he convinced me to do it. So then she had given me her number. This is how I knew it was a mistake. I called her to say like, hey, let's hang out. And she goes, really? Like that's how she was. I was like, oh no, like I shouldn't do this. And then she came over and she was on her period and didn't tell me, and she bled everywhere. And she was a heavy bleeder.
Oh.
And the end of it was her doing my laundry, trying to get the blood stains.
Oh, right. You didn't just go, you fucking do my laundry. That sex was so bad.
No. She was like, I was like, you knew you were on your period. Like, at least let me, you put a towel down, or it was like, it was heavy.
Are you sure she didn't know?
There was like parts of her vagina coming out. I feel like it was.
It
was like she was like sheathing. I don't know what that is, but there's like.
I'm gonna say like once I was maybe 50. No, it was in Scotland. So it was.
By the way, I don't mind having sex with women on their period. I'm just saying.
It was. I'm gonna say 18 years ago. I had sex with this woman, and I went down and she came. The most ferocious orgasm I've ever seen. It was body shaking, legs kicking around, all that type of stuff. I was like, all right, I did a good job there. She was easy as hell to make her come. She was one of those ones where you
lucky.
Lucky person. Anyway, so I still kept on going down, and then I looked down. It was in the dark, and I picked up there was a little turd, like a little tiny pebble shit, right? I went, what's this? And I picked it up, and I went, and I threw the turd across the room. I threw the little shit across the room, and then she goes, what's wrong? And I go, I think when you orgasmed, a little poo came out like that. And then she just looked at me like, yeah, what's wrong, you pussy? Like, that happens when you have a big orgasm. Stop being Yeah, she looked at me like I was being an hysterical bitch about the whole thing. Like,
well, it doesn't even sound like you made a big deal about it either. You just chucked it across the room.
I did go gross and chuck it across the room. It was hard as a rock. It was.
What do you mean you try? I would have just stopped. If someone took a shit.
It was sitting there, and I went. What? It was sitting on the sheet.
You just got rid of it, and let's dive back in. You sit on the bed.
I went. Oh, what's this? Oh, like that. And I threw it across. I went. Oh yeah, it's a poo. This is when you're saying comfortable. I was going poo.
And then your hand smelled like poo.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't happy. And then she was like, stop overreacting.
It'd be one thing if you were having anal and you got poo on your dick or something, because when guys freak out about like bodily fluid and stuff like that, it's like you're sticking a dick in a butt.
Yeah, no.
But
You got to accept.
I've never heard of a
dick.
poo pebble coming out during an orgasm.
It's like a Pez dispenser.
I guess I'm not getting serviced well enough.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it before. I haven't seen it since. It was a one-off.
We should definitely talk about some other things before I bring our guest on.
Okay.
Well, you said that was Scotland, right? Well, that leads us into the last comment, which is people are still pissed that we don't like Iron Brew, and
get over it.
They said they didn't put less sugar in Iron Brew. They changed it to a sugar substitute because Jamie Oliver, that English wanker, pushed the sugar tax.
Who?
Jamie Oliver.
I'm going to nickname
his HBO show, you mean? His HBO show pushed it?
I'm not sure about him as a chef, I guess.
Oh, not John Oliver. Jamie Oliver.
Jamie Oliver.
Wow, for some reason I was thinking John Oliver had something to do with Iron Brew.
John Oliver ruined that.
And I'll tell you another thing about Iron Brew.
Jamie Oliver's the best. I fucking love Jamie Oliver.
Is he Scottish?
No, he's English.
So he had something to do with Iron Brew.
I love Jamie Oliver. His recipes are so easy to do. And you feel like a genius afterwards. And there's nothing, and it's just like, throw a bit of thing, pucker, smash this thing against here, and then you go, wow, it worked.
Get him
Everything's crushing something with the back of a spoon. It's like, he's not like Julian vegetables.
Yeah.
He's just like, cut them up with a fucking hacksaw and throw them in. And then you're like, it always tastes good. He knows what he's doing, man. He knows how to treat morons.
Love that.
He's got a lot of kids.
This one person said a lot of mean things and said, Iron Brew is amber gold and tastes of all things beautiful and bright.
Yeah, shit.
Wow. You guys said it tasted like rust?
That's what they told us.
Yeah,
They said it's from girders. That's what they guys say.
It tastes like rusty water, yeah.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Let's get some in.
What?
I'll try it.
We'll order some
We'll order some
Iron Brew, and we'll have an Iron Brew taste.
Oh, yeah, you haven't had it,
I've
right?
never had
You
it.
I haven't had it, yeah.
You got to have
Yeah.
it cold. If you have it warm, it's... oof.
Well,
got a mini fridge,
we'll make it fair.
we're
Make it
solid.
really cold, and you know, if you like ice, but we'll do whatever. If anybody has any suggestions on how to drink Iron Brew or to mix it with
Vodka.
yeah, we'll try it that way too. But
I
it's
think
gonna
you
be
can
bad.
have an Iron Brew and whiskey. I think that's like a whiskey and dry, like a whiskey and Iron Brew. I think.
Yeah, because it kind of has it's not like ginger ale, but I could see how like it might be like in that realm.
Let's start the show.
Okay, first let's just make sure if you guys want to follow us on Instagram, it's at IDCat Podcast. But rate, review, subscribe, and we're only doing comments that are 5 stars.
Yeah.
So,
Go suck a dick.
all right, let's start the show.
Okay, that was Comment World with Jack Hackett.
That went well.
Yeah.
Such a natural.
I know this isn't edited in. Okay, so normally this is our 20th podcast. By the way, Jim, did you
Number
know that?
20. I didn't think they said we wouldn't make it.
Yeah.
And look at us, we're at number 20, and we don't have ads. This thing's really rolling along.
Yep, we're doing this for free. So for our 20th podcast, we thought we'd do something a little bit different. Normally we have on an expert in some field, and then we reveal to you what their name is. Jim, you guess what they do. We tell you what they do. I mean, everybody knows what happens with the podcast. So we have experts on. So we thought today we'd have somebody on to talk about experts. Somebody that you met before. You already know he's going to be on the podcast. It's not a surprise. We've told you.
I've forgotten your last name on it. I know you're Tom.
Nichols.
Tom Nichols. Tom Nichols was, well, I only get seen the things when they appear.
It's okay, Jim. We're off to a great start here with our guests.
Tom was on the Jim Jefferies show, which I hosted. I want to add that in. All right. Everyone wonders why.
Shameless
everyone
plug.
goes, "Why'd you call it the Jim Jefferies show?" Because if I called it like yesterday, today, or something like that, they could fire me.
No.
I wanted to make myself fire.
They fired you anyway. So.
What they did instead was they fired everyone.
Oh yeah, okay, sorry.
We were all fired because of my name choice. You would have had Michelle Wolf doing the show by now, but no, it's all over.
That's good.
I didn't think about that. What a dick.
Yeah.
So Tom Nichols is our guest today. He wrote a book called The Death of Expertise, The Campaign Against Established Knowledge and Why It Matters. He's also a university professor. Welcome to the show, Tom. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, good to be back.
And Tom's an expert in experts.
I mean, would you call yourself that, an expert or expert in experts? Or that's what we're going to title the show, at least.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on other experts. I'm an expert on why people have become insanely resistant to listening to experts. So
yes,
okay. I don't know about other people's fields. I just know why people don't listen to them.
Yeah, so that's why we wanted to have you on, because our show is we bring on people that know more about a subject than at least us. We call them experts, but they know more about a subject than us. And They range from university professors to people that are just, knowledgeable.
Beekeepers.
Yeah, the beekeeper, but he's a generational.
He's an
a-
expert.
Yeah,
in bees.
beekeeper. We had a woman that was knew a lot about cheese, and and so. And nonetheless, people still think they know more than these people in the comment section in our YouTube comments, or they write to us direct messages. And
The anti-vaxxer, we had a lot of people
we had
angry at us about
we get a lot of, well, actually, and it's fucking annoying.
So,
But I often wonder about that. Like, okay, we're probably about to cover this. What makes an expert? Is that one of the questions you're going to ask me?
I mean, I wasn't going to ask you any questions. We're going to have a discussion about it today.
All right.
Why? Do you want to be quizzed on experts?
I think I know what an expert is.
All right, go ahead, shoot.
Yeah, go. Let's do it. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what makes it. You can't qualify as an expert. You just people just around you assume you're an expert. Like I don't know if I'm an expert in anything.
Nothing?
Would you say you're an expert in stand-up comedy?
No, I know how to do stand-up comedy, but I don't know anything about the history or anything like that. I don't have any expertise in. But I think I could set up a comedy room really well to make a really good audience with the right size stage and the right size. I think I could set comedy clubs up perfectly if I was given the opportunity that I don't want.
Is there something that you've written down, like where you define what an expert is, or?
Yeah, and actually, it's a good question, because people, they bristle at the word expert, because when they hear expert, they say, "Oh, somebody with a PhD like you," and that's not at all what I mean. I mean, you guys are bringing up people like beekeepers and cheese experts. I mean, if I wandered into a field full of bees, I'd want to be with a beekeeper.
Right.
I mean, Jim and I are useless. I'll talk about nuclear weapons, and Jim will crack jokes, and we'll both die from a billion stings.
But I have learned about bees. Did a podcast
Now he's
about
an expert.
it. So now I'm an expert.
Yeah, now you're in it, right? Because you talked to somebody once, so that. But
and I've recorded all the information. There's one queen bee who gets gangbanged by the rest of them, and they make honey by rubbing their feet together. I remember all of it.
We're expert adjacent here.
Some of it is surviving long enough. I mean, you guys were just talking about, is Jim an expert in comedy? Well, if you do it long enough and you're paid for it, and your other comedians or other professors or other beekeepers kind of affirm that you know what you're talking about. It's not just people with advanced degrees who claim to be experts. I had a house fire in this very house, and everybody except me was an expert at that point. The fire marshal, the carpenter, the plumbers, the guy that was running the wiring.
How many people were in your house when there was that fire?
A construction
everyone
party.
knows what you do. You get down low and go, go, go. That's what they say in Australia.
I think he means rebuilding the house.
I was lucky, but that 10 minutes after I stood there going, wow, these are flames. Real experts came in and saved my house. And
how did your house catch on fire? This is off subject, but how did your house catch on fire?
My house was built in the 50s, and there was a defect in the fireplace that was not visible until it caught fire.
Didn't have a chimney. Just a hole in the wall, oversight.
No, it's worse than that. It's the guy, whoever built it back during the Eisenhower administration, decided that he was running behind, so he decided to level the fireplace with wooden shims.
Right. I like that you made it political, by the way. You're like, back in the Eisenhower administration.
Back in those Eisenhower builders. They were the fucking worst.
Yeah. So how do we know who to trust then? How do we know who?
Not those Eisenhower.
Not that
anything built in the 50s, they don't know what the fuck they were doing.
Because I always say you defer. Like I always say, you need to be the person that defers to them. You have to have, but I don't think people have that ability anymore to be like, this person knows more than me.
And that's the problem. Like in any room of people, there are going to be 2 or 3 people with dispositive knowledge, like better authoritative knowledge about something than other people. And all you have to do is say, look, I'm not the guy who knows about this. Your air conditioner broke. Fine. The air conditioning guy, that's the expert. He's going to fix your air conditioner.
Right.
You're on an airplane. The pilot is the expert. People have a really hard time saying, no, I don't know about that. They have to say, I'm competent in everything. I know all kinds of, they're all like Fredo in The Godfather. I'm smart. I know things. I can do stuff. And that's just a crazy way to live. So an expert is somebody who has training, has some background, has some experience. And I think it's important to say, like, how do you know an expert plumber? Well, he's licensed by the state or has passed the examination by other plumbers to become a master plumber. There's a reason that we have all these kinds of affirmations. You know, as I say in the book, you don't want to get in an elevator and look at the certificate and have it say good luck up there.
Right.
You know, you want it to say an engineer who works with other engineers and who is part of the engineering profession looked at this elevator. It's okay to go to the 50th floor.
Right, but this isn't a new occurrence that people ignore experts, correct? This has been going on since forever, or is it because of social media this is a new thing?
Social media put it on steroids.
Right.
But what's new, and I when I say new, I would say pretty much since maybe the early 70s. It's not that people distrusting experts. That's as old as time. You know, your doctor says, I saw your leg off, and you say, whoa, I'd like to talk to another doctor. I want a second opinion. It's people now saying, I am smarter than experts.
Right.
It's not doubting experts. Nobody likes intellectuals. Nobody likes college professors.
No,
we're all used to that.
Yeah, we hate
worst. I had a university professor who's sadistic. Tony Madewell. I hope you fucking rot in hell.
My
brother ran a bar, and I was hanging out with him there. It's great to have a brother with a bar. And I left one night, and a guy at the bar turned to my brother and he said, "So your brother's a professor, huh?" And my brother said, "Yeah." And the guy went, "Seems like a good guy anyway."
Jesus Christ.
You know, which is you just get used to that. But what's different is when people say, "Oh, you're a professor? What's your area?" And I said, "Well, Russian affairs." They say, "Oh, okay. Let me tell you about Russia."
Right.
They tell you that?
And it's like, when did that begin? And I think that tracks with narcissism. That tracks with the growth of a very narcissistic society that we developed into after the 70s.
Well, we get that in comedy. We get people afterwards telling us what we should be doing.
Yeah, like, I've got a pitch for you.
Yeah,
and you're like,
this is how you should be doing it.
That one joke you told, not good.
Yeah. Look,
I'm sure people have walked up to you, Jim, and said, "You're good, but let me tell you about timing."
Yeah, no, I've had variations on that. I've had a lot of like, you don't need to swear and all that type of stuff, and this joke works and that joke doesn't work, and blah 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 blah.
You had a famous actor once call you to tell you how to do comedy. Remember?
I did have a famous actor who, and I won't say who it is.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, but he saw me perform at the Laugh Factory, and then he rang me up the next day to tell me where I was going wrong. And I told him, I gave him a Macbeth fucking monologue and told him to fuck off and get that back to me and see how that goes.
So I think that is interesting because I think that's sort of the premise of our podcast too, is when we do have people on, they know more than us, is what we always say. And you said, so in this room, including you, everybody in this room is an expert on at least one thing because we know more than the other people in the room, right? So
I mean, how good an expert are you? Well,
sure.
You guys know how to create a podcast. Are there people that are better at it? Sure.
It's been 5 minutes.
I don't know about that, Tom.
It's only your 20th show.
And we're nailing it.
There are people that have done hundreds, and you could say, okay, are there people that are more experienced and know how to do this better? Sure, but that doesn't mean that therefore, anybody can do it. And I think that's the problem, is they say, but you're not, this good an expert, or you made this mistake, so therefore you're not an expert at all.
Is there a word, but there's the amateur and there's expert. Is there a word in between these two? Because I'm in between on a few things.
Maybe professional?
What?
Mm-hmm.
What are you in between on?
I know. I guess I'm an amateur Beatles enthusiast, right? So I guess, but there's no point being an expert. Okay, so let's say I'm an amateur driver, but I think I drive very well and I have a license and everything.
Okay, in this room, what do you think you know more than anybody else about?
In this room?
Yeah.
All my siblings. I know their dates of birth and stuff like that.
Expert on your siblings.
I know more about my family than anyone else. I think I know more about the Beatles than anybody else in this room. I think I know more about Crowded House than anyone else in this room.
Crowded House.
Yeah, no, these aren't good things. I think I know more about the manufacturing of Holden cars in Australia than anyone in this room. I think I'm well versed in pies. More than in meat pies. Not
you did pretty good on. We had a pie this episode.
I think I know more about. I think I could probably name more porn stars than maybe not than Jack. No, I don't know.
Can't beat me.
Yeah, you can't beat me.
Wait, for real?
Do you know a lot of porn stars?
Are you a porn enthusiast?
There is something more than an amateur and less than a professional. There are people who are hobbyists and enthusiasts. And people that are highly literate in a
Enthusiast.
particular field, but they may not be experts. For example, there are people who know a lot about the law, and they know, like they will write books on on the Constitution and the founders and the creation of the Bill of Rights. That doesn't mean that's the person you call when you've been arrested for drunk driving. They're not lawyers.
Right.
They're not lawyers. They know about the law. They can hold a very good conversation with a legal expert about things. They may even know, in fact, people like that know more than a lawyer about what George Mason or John Adams or James Madison might have meant.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, if you're asking, what is a lawyer as an expert, it's somebody who actually knows how to navigate that system, who's been to court.
Australian history. I know more about Australian history.
Okay,
I was really just thinking.
Hold on. So I'm gonna guess that Tom knows more about Russia than any of us. I would hope so.
Bloody, why would you want to learn about Russia? It's never been a good one. It's never been good. I tell you what, throughout my whole life, I've toured all over the world. I've been all through Asia. I've been all through Europe. I've done Slovenia and I've done Eastern Europe countries, and I've had no want to ever go to Russia. I've seen the pictures. It looks shit. The fucking, you've got that one building with the fucking
Kremlin?
with the ice cream cone tops.
Yeah, the Kremlin.
Right, those ones. The ice cream cones on top of it. That's shit.
How do you know it's shit? You haven't been there.
I've seen pictures of it. All right, there, that's where it is. You got your square.
What
where
about
they
the
all hang
vodka?
out.
What about vodka?
Vodka, I can get it here.
Yeah, but you like vodka.
It's like
No, Russian.
That's the same.
Expert opinion. Russian vodka is the best vodka there.
Yeah, I know, but I can still buy it. I can still buy it and have it over here. It's like these fuckwits.
Well, what are Russian vodkas?
Who live up in the Napa Valley because they like wine. Well, we can still get it. You don't have to live next to the fucking vines. We can all buy it.
All right, Tom.
I didn't study it because I was initially in love with it, Jim. I studied it because I grew up next to a Strategic Air Command nuclear bomber base, and it occurred to me at a very young age that whoever they were going to melt me into the ground at some point.
Yeah.
And so I kind of got curious about, who were these people and what are they about and why do I have to hide under my desk every time, somebody looks at somebody else cross-eyed. And that's actually what led me to do it, was being a Cold War kid and saying, why am I living this way? Who are these people on the other side and what are they about?
When the Cold War ended, was that sad for you?
Oh no, that was I always said
got nothing to talk about.
I need a little excitement.
Well, they've opened a McDonald's and there's queues.
I'm going to go all experty on you, and I'm going to quote a great line from a John le Carré spy novel. I felt about the end of the Cold War the way this spy in a John le Carré novel did. He said, the goal of my life was to end the time I lived in. And so when the Cold War was over, I was like, now I can, do other stuff.
Yeah, but they're back.
And
Russia's back.
This is what you got to give it to Russia in many ways. They always, they're like,
we are giving it to Russia these days. But
they're like, everything's okay. We're all good friends. Aha! They're always lurching around, being sneaky, the Ruskies.
We're 100% getting hacked after this episode airs.
Wait, okay. I want to go back to something real quick. People are experts are in this room, at least. Mm-hmm. You said Jack, you know a lot about porn star?
No, Jack knows a lot about the Grateful Dead.
What is that? What you? No, let Jack. What are you an expert in this room?
I could probably do cameras and lights.
More over Louise?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you studied university.
I like that Louise gave him approval to say yes.
Thank you, Louise.
Do you physically know how a camera works? You could explain that?
Yeah.
God, no wonder you don't get laid.
These are things you don't need to know, Jack.
Yeah.
This is why I date cinematographers.
Learn how an orgasm works, Jack. You'll be fine.
Cinematographers, they can make anything look good. They're just put a small Coke bottle next to the penis. There you go. Now it looks bigger.
Okay.
Tic Tacs.
Yeah.
Cameras and lights. Anything else?
In this room or
no, among the people that are in here, including
guitars, probably.
Guitars?
Yeah, he's an enthusiast. He doesn't know.
Yeah, hobbyist.
I know more than the room.
You think so? Huh?
I think I know a lot about musical theater in comparison.
No, you're done, Jim. Sorry, we're talking to other people right now.
One day I'll have my own podcast, and then you'll all fucking hear about it.
Yeah, you can keep throwing them in there. I'm writing a next musical theater. Okay, Louise, have you ever talked on this podcast, Louise?
Absolutely not.
Wow, he's got an American accent.
Wow, that's nice. Jim's never talked.
What a debut.
And you guys can't see it, but he's wearing socks and sandals right now.
Yeah,
So.
socks and sandals and a Hawaiian
shirt.
This is
I'm an
Luis.
expert on fashion, clearly.
Yes, very clear.
He's
Luis.
an expert in being comfortable in COVID.
Luis Castillo is he's the guy behind the podcast. He puts the whole podcast together for us, records it, and what is your title here? I don't even know. We never given you a title.
Technical producer.
Technical producer. All right. You have your own podcast too, right?
So not Corner Boy.
Quarterback. This is the first time he's in a corner. Normally he's just he was at the end of a table before. And what do you think?
So he's the expert in production. I mean, the thing I always tell people is, who would you turn to for an authoritative answer on something really important?
I guess so.
That person is the expert on it among you.
Amongst
There's
us.
always going to be a better expert.
All right, I got a game. Throw us a topic, and I'll tell you who would be the best expertise in the room. Throw us anything. I'll tell you. I'm off.
Who are you talking to, Tom?
Anyone who wants to throw us a topic.
Tom will do it.
Yeah, Tom. You don't really know us that well, any of us, so just throw out any topic.
Okay.
You're not an expert at this.
We'll edit this down. Don't worry.
I'm an expert at stalling. Okay, Jim. Who's
Stalin. Yeah, he knows all about Russia.
Lenin, the whole
I'm an expert in Stalin, Lenin,
Putin.
putting things down, picking them up.
I have a chessboard behind me. Who's the chess expert?
Chess.
Forrest beats me.
I'm
and
terrible,
So
though.
he's but I know how to play it. But we're just bad at it. But Forrest beats me. I would say that Jack would be the best person at it. And
I went to chess camp.
You did?
Yeah.
You went to chess camp?
Yeah. I lost because the little shit I was
there
playing
even
against was
such
a
a thing?
cheater. Oh, yeah. It was a week long. It was at school during the summer.
It's incredible that
I learned
that's a
about
thing.
Queen's Raid. Yeah.
Was there any girls in chess camp?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. Was it in the library or something? Or
It was in the Spanish classroom.
How bad did it smell, that room?
It was fine. It was.
Yeah, that's
I think we
'cause
were
you get used to
we were
it.
like 12.
Okay.
Oh wow.
That didn't smell
Wow.
good.
There's some teacher who made up that class.
We're not playing chess at chess camp.
Yeah. Your move. Checkmate.
All
All right, chess. So I'd say I'm sorry. I looked at you and thought girls don't play chess.
I've
very
never
much.
played chess in my life. So
See, that was
All right, so it remains the same. Yeah.
Yeah. So I believe that number one and corner boy. Do you know?
No.
No. He doesn't. Yeah, okay. If you say socks and sandals, I got a winner for you right here.
All right, let's do two more. Let's do a couple more topics. All right, Tom, you're on the spot again.
Ceramics.
Ceramics.
Ceramics. That's like because I know what a plate.
Listen, if you're going to ask me to free associate, you got to take what you're going to get.
All right,
Yeah, we like
I'm
it.
going to say in this room that I know more about ceramics than everybody else.
That
And
you know
and
more-
I'll tell you why. Because my mother collected ceramic dolls. Maybe I don't know how. I don't know how they're made, but I've looked at a lot more.
Are you sure they were ceramic or porcelain?
Oh, they were porcelain. Fuck. Is that
boy.
different?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, take my expertise off the table.
An expert would have known, Jim.
Yeah. No.
Idiot. Okay. I know. I've made pottery. I've fired up a kiln.
Kiln.
Kiln?
So
Kiln?
I'll tell you things that Forrest is expert in. Manatees.
In this room, yeah.
Yeah,
Manatees, I
manatees.
definitely know more about.
I'll tell you a thing that Kelly's an expert in. Calming down drunk women. I've seen her do it. I've seen her do it at parties. She sits down with them and she goes, "Everything's okay.
Yeah.
Time for you to go to bed."
Yeah, time to go night night.
Yeah, she's the drunk girl whisperer.
That's so true.
Okay. What about Luis?
Luis, he knows more. Well, we already said this. He knows more about sound engineering and stuff like that than the rest of us. And I think he would know more about, just from his hat, I think he knows more about baseball than me and you.
Okay.
I don't think that's true.
No.
I don't know
You
about
don't?
that. No.
I just live in
He's
LA.
like a fake fan.
No, I'm a relatively new Dodger fan. So,
Oh.
yeah. The Dodger menu, though.
Yeah, he's a big Dodger dog guy.
You got the all beef. You got the vegan. You got the what else you got?
I reckon.
That's it.
I reckon I know more about McDonald's than anyone else here.
What about Jack? You didn't do Jack.
Jack doesn't know anything about McDonald's.
No. What he knows most about.
Jack knows the most about. He knows most about chess and the Grateful Dead.
Okay.
He knows a lot about the Grateful Dead. He knows how to repel women.
Oh yeah.
Super expert.
He is like
Give me the mic.
well-versed. He's well-versed in that. You know, walk up to him, act creepy, say something wrong. He's got it all.
Okay. I want to talk now about the Dunning-Kruger Effect. Tom, if you can explain what that is.
Named for Dunning and Kruger, two guys, amazingly enough, who discovered it. They figured out that the worse you are at something, the less likely you are to realize how bad you are at it.
But that's not true. I really know how bad I am at golf. I am a terrible golfer, and I keep trying.
But that's why you're not and so I imagine you don't spend a lot of time playing golf and bragging about.
No, I do.
No, you don't brag about it.
I don't brag about it.
You don't brag about it.
Yeah.
Oh, if I do one good shot, you'll hear about it all day.
The Dunning-Kruger effect is the guy who says comes off the karaoke. He's tone deaf, and he comes off the karaoke stage and he said, "I was awesome. I'm terrific."
We have a lot of them in the stand-up comedy community. There was this bloke I started out with in the UK, really good guy, but he used to fucking rip the roof off every gig he did, and it was like, what fucking gig are you watching? He thought that if he wasn't booed, he was crushing.
Yeah.
Right? I'm killing it. I'm killing it.
Yeah, and he was hopeless.
Well, it's kind of like American Idol, right? You've got those like really terrible singers. And do you think it's that people are that delusional, or it's that the people around them are so supportive that they think that they're good?
They are that delusional. And there's a thing that these guys, they call it metacognition, which is the ability to step back from what you're doing and to be able to look at what you just sang or what you just wrote. Like writers, I think this is really important. This is why I don't think any writer should ever work without an editor. You always need other people's eyes on things. That you can step back, look at what you did and say, now, am I really being honest with myself? Was this any good? Can I recognize something that's any good? People who lack that tend to look at like students who write crappy papers and they say, but this is awesome. I wrote a really great paper. Or the guy that you hang out with who you're terrified to get into a car with, and he says, but I'm an awesome driver. I'm a fantastic driver. Yeah. They can't step back and say, like, I admit it. I'm a terrible driver. I'm just not a good driver. I get it. Right. So I'm long past that adolescent need to say, well, I'm a guy and I know how to handle a car. If my wife wants to drive, I'm like, yeah, I'm not that great.
I'm an awesome driver. So, I think I might have that syndrome when it comes to driving.
But it's kind of like a saying, like the dumber people are, the more confident that they're not dumb. Like that's a huge,
and it increases their confidence to say. I mean, teachers encounter this all the time. Like I said, with students who do really poorly on a test, and they go and they say, "But this answer was fantastic." And you find yourself saying, "This answer isn't even in English. This isn't even a sentence." But they're like, "No, I'm very bright." And so
there's nothing more frustrating than that when somebody it sounds elitist, but if somebody's like really dumb, and then they don't think they're dumb, but they're very confident that
very, very few people think they're dumb. I think I know a couple of my weaknesses but some people don't know any of them. Mm-hmm. One of my big weaknesses is I can't fill forms out at all. At all.
I don't know if that's a weakness. What is it?
No, I just don't know what's happening. People give me contracts and stuff like that, and I look at them and I read the information. I still don't know what's happened.
You're reading legalese. Like
that's not really a character defect. Like, people are like, I'll tell you the thing about Jim. Can't fill out forms.
I can't even compute it into my head. I don't know what's going on.
What about character defects?
It might be a focus issue.
Character defects, though.
Character defects. Oh, no, I'm perfect.
Oh, okay.
No, I've got some character defects, but that's nothing to do with expertise. Wow. I have a short fuse, but I calm down quickly, so that's a good and the bad. Calm down. Right?
That's got nothing to do with expertise.
Exactly, but Forrest is just trying to make me go. Yeah. And I piss in a cup off the side of my bed.
I tricked you.
I mostly just jizz on my stomach and rub it in and never use a towel or anything, and then I don't bathe for days. Not an expert.
Yeah.
They don't use the word dumb, by the way. They'll say less competent. at something. So people who are less competent.
Who's they? I use the word dumb.
I'm trying to get Tesla tiles on my house, like solar panels at the moment, right? And so what I have to do is I have to take photos of all the different things.
Why didn't you come to me? I'm a solar expert.
Yeah, well, I didn't know.
I worked in renewable energy for 11 years.
She used to sell solar panels.
Well, I don't know where all these panels are, and they're just like, take a photo of this, take a photo of that, and they're all named different things than what they were named in Australia.
Yeah.
And so I just had to write to the person, look, I'm a moron. I don't know how to do this. You have to send someone out. Here at Tesla, we don't send them out until you've got the photos. I go, but just tell them I'm mentally challenged or elderly or something like that I need special things. And this guy just wouldn't help me. In the end, I could ring in. Then there was an Australian lady, and she goes, she means the fuse box. Yeah. And I went, yeah, I know that.
What did they say?
I'll tell you another one.
They say the breaker?
I'll tell you how dumb I am, right? So I had these automatic blackout blinds, these electrical blackout blinds set in my house. It makes the room completely dark. You press a button, it goes, and the room just shuts down, right? In 2 of the rooms. Anyway, I bought these fucking things, right? And then the fucking all of them started to break down around the same fucking time, right? Just these things were just fucking pieces of shit. They lasted 2 years, and then they just started breaking down. So I rang up the company to abuse them. Yeah, it turns out batteries. They got batteries in them.
Oh, thought it was just magic.
I thought that they'd bought shit that all broke down around the same time.
They have like a 2-year warranty and break right after the warranty's over.
And then the guy's like, "Have you replaced the batteries?" I know. I went, "Of course I have."
You fucking idiot! Of course I replaced the batteries. What am I, a fucking moron?
I'm not a moron. And then I went, "Look, I have to go to work or something." And then I hung up and just replaced the batteries.
I'll call you back. Here's something that we wanted to talk about because this relates to something currently going on. Why are people so quick to write off experts when they change their mind due to new information? Like, for example, when Dr. Fauci had a different stance on masks early on in COVID and now, but that happens a lot. So, yeah.
There's 2 reasons for that. One is that people are basically very childish about this, that they want an answer and they want it 100%, and they don't want any ambiguity, and they want it to, kind of packaged up neatly with a bow on it. If Fauci, in March says something and then a month later says, well, we're still looking, we're trying to figure it out. They don't want to hear that. Increasingly, I think, especially the American public, has like zero tolerance for nuance. And the other reason is that people don't understand science. They just don't understand how science works. They don't understand how they look around at the world and they say, well, everything just works, right? I mean, how hard can it? And I think this is really a big part of it. How hard can it be? How hard can it be to fly an airplane? How hard can it be to, run a show? How hard can it be to do comedy? How hard can it be to make the lights go on? Because things around them work. I think we used to have a better understanding that the world was complicated. That it's not, that people, like even driving a bus, right? Ralph Cramden, the honeymooners, the everyman. Even driving a bus is a skill. You have to know how to handle a vehicle that size. You have to know how to deal with the people on it. You have to know the streets of New York. Now people look around and say, well, how come Fauci didn't know this, in the first 10 seconds? Everything is easy. I could have done it. And that's the part that is really the part that I think is the new aspect of this. So, well, anybody could have figured this out. I mean, the government, anybody can run the government. Anybody can figure out a pandemic.
I often think about how far would the world be along if everyone had my brain. Like every man, woman, and child, we all had my brain, and this is the entire intellect of our society.
There would become everywhere.
No, I don't know if we would have figured out plumbing. We'd have fire.
We wouldn't have figured out. You just piss anywhere. I've seen you before. You wouldn't have
You
cared about plumbing.
You wouldn't have even tried to figure out plumbing.
Plumbing is that bush over there. See the pool?
So I don't know. I don't know what inventions we'd have. I reckon one of us would have cracked the bicycle.
I'll tell you the thing. Though, that it's like we drive cars. And now it used to be you turned a key. Now you just press a button. So I don't think cars are so complex. And when they break down, you're like, I don't know. I've just been driving this thing I've driven this thing 150,000 miles. I still don't even know where the starter is.
I knew how to fix things in cars. I knew how to buy a part, and back in the old days, I knew how to do a little bit.
Yeah, but now,
now there's
it's
nothing. There's nothing to.
I used to do a joke because I was I don't know if you know this, Tom. I was a marine biologist in a former life.
He's an expert in manatees.
In this room, there's a lot of people that know more about manatees than me, but
I don't know.
I'm the foremost expert on manatees.
They don't count them as good as you, Forrest.
But all the times that people have asked me about manatees, I go, I've got a guy.
And water quality. You never bring up water quality.
You've never brought it up. You know about water quality?
Sure, that was a big part of my job.
Brag a little bit for us.
That's new.
pH levels, dissolved oxygen, salinity.
Wait a minute, college boy. Let's see if he does know. What does the pH stand for in the pH levels?
The numbers?
What does pH stand for? What does pH stand for?
The pH? I don't know what pH stands for.
Oh, fuck off. I thought I was throwing you a softball.
Hydrogen.
Yeah.
He knows. You didn't know what pH
Because
meant.
Russians have water.
Yeah, I forgot.
Oh, I was also a 5-time Jeopardy champion, guys.
You were what?
Oh, man.
Five-time what?
I was a 5-time Jeopardy champion. That's how you
Oh,
do it.
shit.
You were 5-time Jeopardy champion.
Why haven't you brought this up?
Holy shit, I love
What
Jeopardy.
is what the fuck?
I didn't know that. I think we knew that actually from the show, but we didn't. I think
You're a 5-time Jeopardy champion, which is Trebek. Is Trebek as nice as they all say?
Look, the man is having a health crisis. He's not the.
That doesn't mean he's not nice.
Well, he's very polite, but he's not the warmest guy.
Yeah, he doesn't.
He's
Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a little reserved.
Wait,
but
so was this last?
My fiance, she loves Alex Trebek.
Yeah.
She thinks Alex Trebek is the shit. She thinks he's wonderful. She goes, it gives me faith in humanity that there are men out there like Alex Trebek. She loves Alex Trebek. And she only found out about Jeopardy last year.
That's.
I think I made him mad at me during the tryout because I asked him about being on the show Cheers.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, that was really cool. Was that your idea? And he kind of looked at me and said, no, that was NBC's idea. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Too soon.
Maybe I kind of poisoned the well right off the bat. But
hold on a second. I looked you up, and I guess 94 you were on. Wasn't
yeah.
It? Okay.
I was on back when they retired you after 5 wins.
Okay, but hold,
you just kept winning?
No, he did 5 times.
Yeah, but they retired you after 5.
Did you win all 5?
I actually won. Depending on how you count it, I won 6 because I was ruled incorrect in my 5th game, and the show was wrong and I was right. So they invited me back for one more, and then I won that one.
Damn.
Well, I don't want to brag, but I was on a little TV show in Australia called Vidiot, which stood for Video Idiot, when I was 14. And I won 2 out of my 3 shows, and won a camcorder and a TV that I still have in my parents' bedroom, or my bedroom in my old house. Yeah, big time game show guy.
When I came second, they gave me a camcorder, V8 juice, and jelly beans.
V8 juice? Is that a punishment?
But you get all the money, right? You get all the money that you bank.
Only in those days, only if you won. So if you got the if you came in second, that you didn't get any of that money.
Shit,
just V8.
So they gave you consolation prizes, and then you had to pay taxes on the consolation prizes.
See, this is the thing. I've always said this. Okay, so British game shows, right? I love British game shows. They have one called Countdown, which is the hardest game show on fucking earth. It's just spelling and maths the whole time, and it's tricky. Like, it's not hard in the sense that you could do it poorly, but to do it really well and to get like 9-letter words out of these scrambled things in the amount of time, and then do this maths and stuff. And at the end of it, you're like the greatest speller on earth. And they go, and you've won Countdown, and they give you a fucking dictionary, man. They give you.
You're like, I already know this shit.
Like British game shows are like, it's like, and you've built this house for us, and we're gonna give you, like, you bought some antiques and you sold it, and you spent like 4 days, and then you'll get the money difference. There's your £10. I'm not kidding. This is that's how British game shows work. So British game shows, you have to be really smart, and then you get $10, right, or a fucking or a dictionary. And in American game shows, the dumber the game show, the bigger the prize.
Yeah.
The bigger the moron you are. They go door A or door B, and you go door B. You've won a car. Yeah.
American game shows used to be lower paying, and when I was on, they actually put a ceiling on how much you could win because of the old game show scandals. So I actually had to sign a thing that said, if I win more, I think it was like $100,000. If I win more than $100,000, I have to give it to charity or something like that. So they used to put, now it's, millions of dollars. So obviously I peaked too early.
Yeah.
I dated one of the girls that I was competing against. I was 14.
Wow.
May or may not have been my first fingering. Don't want to. It was.
Wait, you got fingered for the first time?
but it was when I was 14. I dated one of the other contestants, and I was like, "Oh, that's all right. It's all right. These game shows."
The real prize.
So last year when what was his name, Holzhauer was on that winning streak in Jeopardy. Yeah. I'm reading a comment by you. You weren't a fan of his.
I was not a fan.
You said that he's ruining the show. You said his winning streak is as exciting as putting a camera on the sportsbook room in Caesar's Palace.
Exactly.
Why didn't you like him? Why are you throwing shade?
Because the thing that made Jeopardy such a hit back in the day was it was ordinary people, right? You say the one of the first big winners on Jeopardy back in the day was a guy who was a New York City transit cop, and he just he just won everything. He was like the most legendary in the Hall of Famers. And he said, wow, it's really cool. A New York City transit cop who's also this kind of, brainiac, or a mailman, or
just like you, a professor.
Well,
back in the day when these ordinary people came on.
I have to tell you, professors generally don't do well because their knowledge is too narrow.
And they're too uncoordinated for the buzzer.
And don't knock the buzzer. The buzzer is everything. That's how you win that game, is developing those quick reflexes. To hit that button. But Holzhauer kind of said, okay, I'm going to beat the algorithm and just practice at this and then rack up so many wins. Because I'll tell you, the other thing I can tell you is people had to go up against me after I'd won 2 or 3 times. Once you're in the kind of the rhythm of the game of Jeopardy, new people have a much tougher time beating you. I never thought they should have lifted the cap on the 5-time winning thing, because once you've won 4 or 5 games, the new guys are like, where are the lights? Where's the camera?
Yeah, there's probably an intimidation factor too.
Baby.
I want to go. I'm putting it out there. I want to go on Celebrity Jeopardy. Right?
Do they have Celebrity Jeopardy?
They do. They
dumb it down.
And the questions are easier.
Yeah.
They're very easy.
The sky is, what is blue?
Let tits now.
Yeah, let tits now. Yeah, let tits now. What was let tits now? Let it snow.
Let it snow. Yeah.
Why do you want to? Was that it? You just want to be on there?
I would like. Okay, I'm more. Yeah, look, I had an inquiry for me to be on I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here in Australia. But I don't want to sit in a jungle and eat fucking bugs. And to our Australian listeners, several reasons. I don't want to fucking eat animals, weird animals in the thing. Plus, I don't think I have a personality that should be filmed for 24 hours a day. I'm really a 1-hour guy. You know what I mean? Like they might give me a contract in the forest and I'll be like, I can't do it. And I'll break down and start smashing things.
That would be your challenge, just filling out a form. We've broken him.
And so I didn't. There was many years ago I got asked to do Celebrity Boot Camp. This is right before my HBO special. I just gotten a little profile in Britain, and a Celebrity Boot Camp where like drill masters were going to call me maggot and all that type of stuff and scream, make me do push-ups and stuff. And it was like me and ex-boy band members and all this type of stuff. And then I got my HBO special and I went, all right, won't be doing boot camp. Let's get back on the gear, right? So then I thought I'd lose pounds and sober up a bit and all that type of stuff. I thought that'll be fun for me, And then we did, when I said gear, I'm not on heroin. Please don't take that the wrong way. Anyway, and then now all I want to do is celebrity game shows, but they don't put me on them.
I don't think you're famous enough to be on Celebrity Jeopardy. I'm looking at the cast right now.
What are you talking about?
Here, let me tell you these.
This podcast is kind of like Celebrity Jeopardy.
I had my own late night show. I've had a sitcom. I could be on Celebrity.
Are you more famous than any of these people? Anderson Cooper.
No.
Jodie Foster.
No.
Ashton Kutcher.
I'm more for, no.
Ashton Kutcher.
I know. I'm going to stir you up. Stir you up.
Harry Connick Jr.
No.
If you've never been punked, you're not famous enough.
I'll tell you what I think about Neil Patrick.
Jesus.
Okay.
Taking a turn. Remember, LGBTQ.
Nothing about him being gay. No problem with that. It's just he's one of those blokes that's like, I can tap, I can this, I'll do a bit of magic.
He was in a sitcom, like and he was in
No,
a couple
I don't-
very successful television
I
shows.
don't mind his acting. It's when he pushes the magic on us. He starts going, and I can do magic.
I've never seen him do magic. Where are you hanging out? He's doing magic.
You watch. He's obsessed with doing a bit of magic.
You watch.
You know how I feel. I feel about Ed Helms. You're very funny. Stop singing. Just stop it. You're annoying me.
I used to.
Every single time I watch The Office, a ring, ding, 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 and you're like, "What are you fucking doing? And you're bloody singing too much."
No, I used to think that you were banging on Ed Helms too much. And we were recently watching like Office. We watched like 5 episodes in a row, and he sang multiple times in each episode.
Every episode.
Yeah, it is weird.
Any movie, he goes. Him and Josh Gad get together when they get a role. The two of them get together and they go like this. They go, "Okay, so this is a movie about the Holocaust, and it's going to be very, very serious film." And then they're like, "And I could sing a song. Maybe I could sing a song." No, there's no need for singing, and you're not a particularly good singer. So we're wondering if you could. I brought my banjo. No one asked you to bring your banjo. No, the two of them love to sing in movies.
Yeah.
Like Josh Gad found a way to sing in the movie Pixels. How did that movie need a song?
That was the video game
Yeah.
movie? Yeah. Don't understand that.
All right, so back to this. What are some signs like to look for, like for information to get to see if we're like getting false information, we're not getting this from the right person? There are things that we can look out for. I mean, it's great for us. I mean, I wish other people knew that because there's so much like misinformation and fake news and all that stuff that is out there. But is there like get off Facebook? Is that
now you got me trying to remember what the song was from Pixels. there are ways to recognize, this is basically the bullshit or not test, right? I mean, how do you know when you're reading something that's reputable? The first thing I always I would tell students when they say, how do I know a source is reputable? First of all, anything that doesn't have an editor and a corrections page is probably not reputable. Look at the masthead. Are there editors? Are there fact checkers? Do they ever admit they're wrong? Is there a page that says, hey, yesterday we said that, I don't know, that Walter Mondale is dead, but he's actually alive. We regret the error. So that's the first thing. Is there isn't an outlet that will actually own its mistakes? Is it associated with an institution that you would trust? I mean,
Right.
if you're reading a book that was published by the University of Chicago, which will kind of answer for this and say, yeah, we're a bunch of smart people. We thought this was worth putting covers.
But fake
as
news,
opposed to,
fake news is a
Joe's
thing.
Press in a garage. That's a different kind of book.
Fake news is real.
Yes.
I'm not a big Trump supporter. It's fucking real. I'm telling you, I've experienced it.
Well, sure, it's real, but
tons of fake
he
news.
calls the New York Times.
Oh,
fake
no, he
news.
calls
It's
everything.
like,
No,
that's the thing, and that's a
I mean, the president thinks any fake news is anything he doesn't happen to like at the moment.
Right.
I mean, if the New York Times turns tomorrow and says Donald Trump is leading by 20 points, he says that's the most reputable source in the world. That's the one you got to trust. And, I mean, he doesn't have any connection to the real world. So what the president thinks is fake news, not. I think do they actually try to edit their sources so that they have to present facts that are checkable? Even
I just don't trust.
I've read a lot of.
I don't trust any print journalism, any of it. I don't trust any of it. I've done interviews. They misquote you and shit, or they write a review and they say.
Yeah, but you're
you did
talking about
something.
entertainment journalism. Like if there's
Which is more opinion based.
I don't fucking. If I can't see it on video, I don't fucking believe it. If you bloody write it down, they're all fucking clickbait cunts. They'll fucking write whatever they can.
I just watched a documentary on Netflix called The Social Dilemma, and they talked about that's why social media can be so dangerous in these scenarios, because if you engage with something that's fake news, the algorithm feeds those type of articles more into your feed. So then people create these echo chambers of fake news, and then how do you discern what's real or not when everything you're surrounded by is some clickbaity conspiracy theory?
It's going to be weird for somebody who participates in social media as much and as extensively as I do to, crap on social media.
I'll do it.
My answer to this is, look, if, Facebook, and I think unless Facebook and Twitter and, YouTube, unless they start policing themselves, they're inviting government regulation. But in the short term, here's a simple answer to not getting misled on Facebook. Don't get your goddamn news from Facebook.
Yeah.
That's a simple answer, right?
So
there.
where should we get our news? Because I find in America,
print journalism, Jim.
I don't trust print journalists, and in America, they don't just give you the news; they give you their opinion.
Yes.
CNN and Democrats.
But that's video. You just said you like video better. Video's the worst.
I don't trust that news either.
What news do you trust?
I don't watch anything anymore.
So how do you get news?
I don't.
What Jim is,
I just found out it was fires because of the smoke.
But what Jim is saying actually happened to me in a conversation with somebody where they challenged me on this, and they said, "Look, okay, you're telling me I don't get my news from the right source. Well, what should I do?" I said, "Well, if you take 20, 30 minutes a day and read a reputable newspaper, whether it's your local, I live in Rhode Island, whether it's, the Providence Journal, the New York Times, whatever it is." He said, "Well, what do you read?" And I said, "Well, I used to work in DC, so I start my day with the Washington Post." He said, "Well, I won't read that. It's inside the Beltway stuff." I said, "Okay." I said, "The newspaper of record is the New York Times." He said, "New York capitalists and, he said, the New York cultural elite, I'm not reading that." And I said, "Well, okay, the Wall Street Journal is not a left-wing newspaper." And he interrupted me. He said, "Capitalists." And finally, what he really meant was, just tell me that the stuff I click and troll through on the internet is good enough. He didn't really want a recommendation. No. He just wanted somebody to say, please tell me that all this bottom feeding I'm doing by going down these rabbit holes on the internet is news, and that's good enough. And it's not good enough.
I trust the
cut the cable with getting their news. A friend of mine asked me what I thought about something on Facebook the other day. He sent me a message, and it was a meme. And he's an old friend of mine. And I said, here's my reaction to that. Stop getting your news from memes.
Yes.
I trust the BBC and the ABC because they're government.
ABC is Australia.
There's
an ABC here too.
No, ABC is Australia. Yeah. No, I get all my news from the Goldbergs.
Yeah. The Last Man Standing, and here I am.
And yet the BBC's been accused of bias, but I think it's a perfectly reputable news source. Of course, they tore into me because I don't like Indian food, and I had to get an earful of it from.
Yeah, but what did you say? What did you say? Did you go? I don't like. Did you wobble your head as you said it? What did you say?
I said that Indian food was terrible, and we pretend it isn't.
No. It's terrible here in America. It's fucking brilliant in the UK.
It's amazing.
It's amazing in the UK. Have you had it in London? Have you gone down to?
I have had it in London. I actually, a friend of mine said, since you don't like Indian food, and he sent me to Chutney Mary's.
I don't know, but it doesn't. I haven't met a lot of Indian people called Mary.
I like.
Fair point.
I've been in London several times, but that was the kind of. He said, if you haven't really had Indian food, I just don't like it, and I made this kind of snippy, glib.
Because you said we pretend we.
I'm a racist, from.
I like Indian food everywhere, so I don't know what you're talking. But I will say when I
don't like Ethiopian food. That's shit. I tried that. My fiance's obsessed with it. She loves it. So different strokes, isn't it?
So I mentioned this to Jim when we were in England, and I was watching the BBC. Is that it's very striking as an American when you watch it that they're just reporting the news and there's not like a lot of opinion or anything. And you were telling me it's because it's government funded, right?
Government funded. They can't give an opinion either. Well, they're not meant to.
Yeah. So it's like when you watch it, it seems almost boring is the wrong word to use. But when you watch it, it's just like, and then this happened, and then this happened. And then sometimes they show video footage of stuff and they don't even put any dialogue over it. There's just like showing you something.
40 people killed in the Gaza Strip.
Yeah, and they just show you happening. And it's like, it almost seems boring now that when you want, and it's so we've been conditioned here to have like these lower chyrons and thirds scrolling by and stuff shooting around.
I'll tell you what my problem. I don't really watch Fox very much. I sometimes watch it when the president's done something. I like to watch how they spin it.
Yeah. And we have a dog fashion show today. And it's like he committed 2 war crimes. What the fuck?
So I sometimes watch that, but CNN is guilty of this. This is CNN all over. Everything's breaking.
Yeah.
Things are breaking for like fucking 12 hours.
Yeah, the 24-hour news cycle.
Breaking. It used to be when I was a kid, like if you were watching a TV program and then they'd have breaking news, they'd cut into your TV programming. Oh, a space shuttle's just exploded. You know what I mean? Like something good had happened. Not good, but something you paid attention. They throw around breaking too much on the fucking Wolf Blitzer. If that's your real name. Fucking Wolf Blitzer, right? Wolf Blitzer, he's always breaking everything. He never stops breaking.
I actually mentioned this in the book, and I specifically mentioned CNN's breaking news, right? And I'll tell you why they do it, I think, is because, again, it goes back to this narcissism problem. It makes you, the viewer, feel very important. Like, when Wolf Blitzer says, "You're in the Situation Room," I always say, "No, you're not. The president probably isn't even in the Situation Room right now. You're in your living room eating pretzels." It's a way of pulling you in and saying, you are at the center of great events and we need your thoughts. And that's part of why this is why people are saying so many kind of stupid things about outside their areas of expertise, because social media encourages you. And I've fallen, I am part of the problem. I admit it. I've fallen into this myself. Social media says you must have an opinion about everything all the time, every 10 seconds. And it's very, very important.
Well, this is the thing. I try not to comment on things. I try not to comment on anything. Especially, I try not to negatively comment on things. I comment on my friends' things, but I got caught up the other day. I sent a negative comment. I wrote a negative comment. Oh, no, the bank I fucking went at.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're on a bank rant.
The bank wouldn't give me my money. I went to buy something, and I said, I rang up the Australian, and they wouldn't give me my money. And so I said,
I know, but you hardly ever use social media, and I just log on Twitter, and Jim's just like, give me my money, attacking your bank over and over and over. And I'm like,
and guess who got their fucking money, yo?
Give me my money, bank.
They wouldn't give it to me. And then my bank account was called Smart Access. It was all in there. And I wasn't allowed to fucking access it. Anyway, so now I sent out a few tweets in anger, and then the bank rang me up very quickly.
Yeah.
And me and the bank are all good. I'm still dealing with those fucking blind people with their crazy fucking blinds that involve batteries. What was I talking about?
Oh, I thought you meant blind people. I was like, what did they do?
Comment section.
Oh, the guy said, I commented on my football team in England, Fulham. I went in there and they lost 4-0 to Arsenal, and I just got enraged. Not enraged. I just went, this is bullshit. Because every time we get promoted to the Premier League, they buy like 3 nobodies and go, we got a team. We couldn't win the fucking championship, and now you want to go up into the Premier League with fucking the same team? That infuriated me. Also, Kenley Jansen from the Dodgers, sometimes I lose me shit. But apart from that, I don't comment on anything else. But I always feel guilty afterwards because I hate when people just negatively, like when people log on to our podcast to write something negative, it's like, why are you watching it?
It's such a pet peeve for me because people don't even realize they're so dumb to how social media works. It's like, okay, let's say you hate the Kardashians. There's an article in your feed, and then you comment, "Fuck these whores," blah blah blah. All the algorithm sees is that there was activity there. It doesn't read the comment, doesn't see that you made an angry face. So now your feed puts more Kardashian content in there. So you're responsible for your own misery of your social media feed.
I'll say I very rarely write back. I sent this to Forrest yesterday. This is good. A bloke wrote to me, and he writes to me every now and again. He watched one of the clips of the show, and he said, "You're getting fat," right?
Rude.
So a stranger wrote that to me. So I just hit the block button very casually, didn't even think about it, right? And so his mate wrote back to me and goes, "Why did you block my friend for sending you a joke about losing weight? You've gotten too sensitive, Jimmy lad," right? So I didn't respond to that. He goes, "Can you please unblock the name of the person? He's a big fan and he's very upset that you've blocked him." He's gone from calling me fat to being why was I blocked? It's like, can't fucking crack the code, right? And I go, hang on a second ago, I was too sensitive, and now he's very upset
that he got blocked.
that he's been blocked for calling a stranger fat. Seems a little sensitive to me, right? And then he wrote, "Dude, I love your stand-up, love the thing, your stand-up specials. Getting a reply from you is a dream come true." Fuck that guy. He's a sensitive cunt.
There is something with your fans, I think, because you have such like a crass sense of humor and you can go hard on things. I think your fans think that you'll enjoy them being negative and shitty to you, which is fucked up. Like, if you love Jim, don't come on his page and say shitty stuff. Like,
no, it's all right for the most part.
I think it's annoying.
But it's very easy to block.
But they do it to everybody. It's not just.
Yeah, but you've been doing it to the Indian people.
What's that?
You do it to the Indian people.
I've gotten people come on and like totally trash me about something, and finally I just say, okay, fine, block. And then I got an email saying, "Why did you block me?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are we, girlfriends?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not required to interact with you. And I think, again, it's that there's that immense sense of entitlement that goes with social media of saying, well, I read something you wrote in a newspaper. I have the right to talk to you for hours about it. No, No, you don't.
There's
I
nothing.
exist in three dimensions. I have a family. I have a life.
There's nothing worse than a Twitter profile where someone brags about the people who have blocked them.
I know.
When they go blocked by this person, blocked by that person, it's like, oh well, you acted like an asshole.
Yeah, you said some really mean, threatening stuff. Like your account should be blocked.
Yeah.
Also, I find that the people who make negative comments too, the minute you go back to them and you're like, well, that was fucking shitty, and they're like, well, why are you attacking me? And it's like, you started this shit. What the fuck?
I did that once, and then they doubled down with more hurtful comments. Like, okay, you win, I'll stop.
And then Jack was like, oh, I'll see you at dinner, mum.
Well, I don't care that I'm blocked by you, Jack. It's fine.
I told a story about the time that people wrote nasty comments and there was one like on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You told it a couple of
Okay.
So by the way,
his mom.
just this has been up on my computer for a while, Tom. In Pixels, Josh Gad saying everybody wants to rule the world in the arcade scene or something. Just so you know. I know it's probably,
no,
I want
that'd
you
be
to
so
comment.
I might have
bad.
blocked.
Yeah.
I had a young daughter and I watched it a whole bunch of times, but I might have blocked that part out.
So
for my own safety.
Blocked Josh Gad from your memory at all?
we're getting
Well, just that song. I like the movie, and my daughter, I should say, is a big Josh Gad fan in Frozen, but I don't remember that song.
I didn't mind Pixels, but Adam's saying like it's a lot of shit sometimes. They're very watchable films.
Yeah.
I didn't mind Pixels.
I haven't seen it.
You watch it with a fucking 5-year-old, great movie.
yeah.
I liked Pixels because I played all those games when I was 12 with a pocket full of quarters.
Were you an expert?
No, I was not. I was mostly a guy who ran through his allowance, not being an expert.
I say I know more about pinball machines than anyone else in this room.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
All right.
You just dated yourself by saying pinball machine.
Yeah.
What do you call them?
What is it called?
What do you call them?
No. What are they called now?
Yeah.
Antiques.
No. They've had a resurgence. In the last 5 years, pinball have been selling better than it ever has.
But it's just like vinyl coming back.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
Exactly
a bar
the same,
down the
exactly
street
the
that is
same.
a full pinball
People-
arcade.
It's hipsters. Hipsters brought
They
it
used to
back.
sell like 10,000 pinball machines a year, and now they're 50, 60,000. It's booming business at the moment.
Booming.
Look at that. That's something I'm not an expert in. I had no idea.
Yeah, there you go.
So I want to talk about just something relevant right now as it relates to experts and stuff because we're getting near the end. And it's COVID-19. There's a lot of people that are getting this.
News. What's he talking about?
New York Times, straight up. There's so many people that are just getting bad information from that, and they think they're experts in it. And specifically, the people that piss me off the most are the anti-maskers. Like, I just don't get why it's like these people think they know more than scientists, and I don't know.
Well, part of the problem is what you were saying earlier is when we have the experts like the Fauci and then they change their opinion because to begin with it was don't touch anything, don't do this, don't do that. And now I'm hearing things like it can only travel through your nose, not through your mouth. The esophagus is fine. And then I heard to begin with, we heard if we held our breath, we could hold our breath for 10 seconds, then you didn't have it.
Where did you hear that?
Oh, that was
really?
That was
like.
That was on Facebook.
No, that was all around the internet, and also it was said by the guy with the moustache who's always
Geraldo Rivera.
Geraldo said
That's
it on
you're getting your news from Geraldo
Okay,
Rivera.
I think you've identified the problem.
Crack the code.
Geraldo Rivera.
He's
just
Fox
saying,
News, right?
I'm saying it wasn't true. I'm just saying that was things that people said. I gave it a go, passed out.
So you had it.
Turns out I have the lungs of a small child, and that was
It's still to this day people are like are saying all this.
But what's happened is people have fused these things to their personal identity and their political tribal loyalties.
Yeah.
So it's like if I think saying anything good about masks is going to hurt President Trump, I can't accept that. So I have to say masks are bullshit.
right.
That this is, and this has been happening. Trump didn't create this. Trump surfed this. Trump used it to his advantage 4 years ago. But it was, whether it was climate change or abortion or gender or whatever it is,
Anti-vaxxers.
people are saying science is science is the thing that empowers me and it's kryptonite to you. My understanding of science will now become fused to my political identity.
Yeah.
And once that happens, you can't talk people out of it. You cannot possibly reason them out of it because it's too threatening to their own sense of their identity. And they could just kind of shut you out and say, the earth revolves around, the sun revolves around the earth. And that's important for me because that's my political tribe. And I don't care what the astronauts on the the pointy heads with telescopes say.
So big
And
question.
that's become really dangerous.
Big question. How do we fix that? How do we not tie in science to people's political beliefs? Because I have relatives who don't believe in global warming and think that I'm a fucking hippie. They think I'm nuts.
The problem is, Jim, if you'd asked me this when we, met back a few years ago, I would have said, well, if something terrible happens, like, I don't know, say a pandemic, that'll shake everybody out of it. That was my answer back then.
Right.
I'm not so confident about that. I used to say, look,
You're not so confident. You've been proven wrong.
We've been stuck indoors for 6 months.
So maybe,
confidence level's low.
I think it's important for experts to admit they were wrong. So I was way wrong. I thought that a disaster, but you see it in other countries, a disaster in other countries did shake a lot of people out of this. Like, okay, we get it. We have to wear masks. We have to do
other countries.
Germany,
yes.
Well, I
Korea.
feel like, okay, so let's give an example. The fires that happened in Australia, the worst fires in my lifetime I've seen anywhere in the world, right? And they went over December, January, and they kept going and going and going. It did change a lot of my father's generation into the whole idea of global warming because they hadn't seen anything like this either. So that sort of worked.
It took a while, though, because for a while your dad was like, it's fine. Same thing.
Yeah.
It took months of it.
It
took months. Yeah.
Even if these fires weren't, because there's a difference between climate and weather, and sometimes accidents happen and forests burn. But sometimes it takes a very visceral, immediate event to kind of shock people out of their, notions about things that are just wrong. So sometimes that can happen, but it is really, I think we underestimate how much people just kind of fuse this to their sense of identity. And say, even if I end up in a hospital on a ventilator, I'm just not going to believe that COVID, did it because I can't climb down out of that tree now.
I know the way to fix the world and to make everyone believe in science. The way to fix the world, and this, like, we can't actually do it. It just has to happen naturally. We have to lose Florida.
Yes.
The water has to come up. Everyone in Florida has to drown.
I'm from Florida.
I know very well.
We're here. We rescued you.
Right. So Florida has to go away. That way, the elections won't be decided by the people in fucking Florida, and we'll all go, look, we lost Florida.
The thing is, when you look at the election, whatever side you think you are in the election, when you look at Florida, it's down the middle. It's not like the whole fucking state is morons. There's a lot of people there.
Somebody made a great point that Florida, you could say, would you like $1 million or a kick in the face, and it's still going to be 49.51.
Yeah, there you go. Did you guys see this video that was going around, the anti-mask rally? It was like, it happened a couple weeks ago, but the one in Utah.
Oh no, I didn't.
No, I didn't see this.
Wait,
I saw it.
Let me just play this.
It was terrifying.
Let me just play here.
It's literally terrifying.
Illegal and even unconstitutional. ABC4's
it was in Utah, and it was a couple weeks ago, but here, just listen.
Now hundreds have gathered here in front of the Washington County Administration Building.
I just want you to hear
of a mask mandate, saying
the
they
people.
are tired of not living their normal lives.
Jesus.
Not on the backs of my kids, or you're going to get more federal funding. That's how I feel about that.
All right, here we go.
A passionate call for action Friday morning in St. George. Several police officers on standby
Utah.
as many locals called concerns about coronavirus spikes overblown.
The flu kills more than coronavirus.
Others calling the virus a hoax or stating that asymptomatic carriers simply do not exist and they cannot be forced to wear masks anywhere as citizens of the United States.
If we want to wear a mask, that's fine. We can take care of ourselves.
Some rally attendees say they shouldn't
Hold
ever
on.
wear masks if they have any medical issues or mental health concerns, or if they feel they simply can't breathe.
When George Floyd was saying, I can't breathe, and then he died, and now we're wearing a mask, and we say, I can't breathe, but we're being forced to wear it anyways.
But many stated that
Good
they believe
analogy.
that
Wait, that's one's coming up right. Have you seen this, Jim?
Parents
There
are
you go.
demanding they have the right to decide what to do with their children.
I'll tell you another reason I hate masks. Most child molesters love them.
School administrators.
Actually, she has a point.
Oh, she has a hell of a time at Halloween, that woman. People in masks everywhere.
See, I know a guy from.
But you can see it, right? You can see that what they're saying is, if I reject science, I can go on TV and say, I'm important. I'm crusading for something. I'm all about the Constitution. I'm saving children from child molesters. I matter. And instead of just saying, hey, I'm an ordinary person. This is a national emergency. Shit happens. I got to put a mask on. we're too narcissistic for that now. We have to say, no, everything is, I am Batman. I am the Avengers. I am stopping Thanos from destroying half of the universe. We can't just go on with our lives and say, hey, sometimes, like when I was a kid, sometimes you just got to sit in line for gas because, that happens. And sometimes, inflation is bad. And sometimes there's a pandemic and sometimes there's a war.
Why do child molesters like masks?
Everything
though?
is about me.
So they can't be seen. So no one knows who they are.
Oh, the child molesters like wearing the masks.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they liked the children wearing the masks.
Yeah, both.
No, of course not.
Thought it was a fetish.
Oh, no.
It's usually masking tape on the kids.
If you talk to somebody like that, you will realize that they can't. That none of it will make sense. And what they really want to be is they just want to be mad and they want you to talk to them. Pay attention to me. And for that, we're now, I think by the time this is out, we'll be hitting 200,000 people dead from a pandemic.
Yeah,
right.
Which is almost unthinkable in a modern day.
It's strange to me that people are willing to be wrong. Like, they're willing to risk that when the chance that they're wrong is so high. Like, a guy from my hometown was a total COVID denier. He got it, gave it to his parents. His dad and his mom spent like 72 days in the hospital. They ended up recovering, but the kid died. And it's just like, what would you do if your parents died and you survived that? The guilt that you would have to live with for the rest of your life is just.
But I also think that's a consequence of years of things actually being pretty good.
Yeah.
Because when you tell people, there could be a pandemic one day, people go, I don't know what that means. I got a flu shot. My parents got a flu shot. How hard can it? Again, it goes back to that how hard can it be thing, right?
Yeah.
Science will figure, well, if there's a pandemic, they'll come up with a vaccine in 20 minutes, which is Trump. That's why Trump gets away with that. Oh, a vaccine's going to be right around the corner. People believe that shit.
Yeah.
They really believe that, you just kind of go, and there's a vaccine.
But then when the vaccine happens, we'll have a whole lot of people who won't believe in that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I won't take that. Yeah.
So, all right. So we're gonna wrap it up here, Tom. Thank you for being with us. But would you, you haven't listened to our podcast yet, huh?
No. Nope. Just found out about it when you guys checked it.
Fair enough.
but I feel like we're doing a good service though here to experts on this podcast. That's what I would say. At least the people that are more experts than us, and people should listen to our podcast and get all their information from it. That's what I think. Right?
Happy to put it out there for you as long as I have to slap that "not safe for work" label on it.
You can put whatever. I'm kidding. I don't think anyone should. I mean, we usually have like one fact that we're like,
don't play this at the daycare center.
Yeah. Well, I mean, depends.
Tom, you're a really great follow though on Twitter, so I highly suggest people to follow him. You're at Tom Nichols, right?
No. At Radio Free
Oh, that's
Tom.
right.
Yeah,
great.
His other page, fuck Indian food.
And Tom's book is The Death of Expertise, the campaign against established knowledge and why it matters. Go out and buy that, please. And thanks for being here, Tom.
Thanks a lot for having me, guys.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to the show. If you're at a party and someone says something that you don't know about, just go, well, I don't know about that, and walk away. And then tell everyone you're an expert. Good night, Australia.